What shape is our world, and why do so many disagree? We'll follow the thread from ancient sky domes and mythic maps, to the scientific globe that predicts eclipses, seasons, and GPS routes. We'll examine today's flat Earth claims and how the internet turns doubt into viral certainty. We'll look at DIY experiments and run simple, clear tests against the evidence. Beyond facts, we'll explore psychology and culture, how trust, identity, and community shape belief. Then we'll connect observation, prediction, and navigation into a coherent picture of a round, living Earth. Stay with me to see the evidence and why it matters. To understand the diversity of views, it helps to first establish the modern scientific consensus. In simple, clear terms, the Earth is an oblate spheroid, slightly wider at the equator than pole to pole. For everyday purposes, a globe is an excellent approximation. This conclusion arose from centuries of observation, measurement, and logical deduction, long before we could see Earth from the outside. Watch ships at sea. If Earth were flat, the entire ship would simply shrink uniformly. Instead, the hull disappears first, then the sails, then the mast, a direct consequence of curvature. During a lunar eclipse, Earth casts a circular shadow from any angle. As Aristotle noted, only a sphere does that. Today, astronauts, satellites, and air routes confirm a vast, round world beneath our feet. Long before the scientific method, cultures formed intricate cosmologies. In the ancient Near East, including early Hebrews and Babylonians, the world was envisioned as a flat circular disk upon cosmic waters, a solid firmament arched above, holding back the heavenly waters. Sun, moon, and stars moved along tracks beneath the dome, a model fitting flat horizons and an arching sky. It was not just physical, it was spiritual. As Dr. Alara Vance explains, for them, the structure of the cosmos mirrored society and the divine. Gods above the firmament, Earth in the middle, Sheol below. Heaven, earth, and underworld organized myths, rituals, and moral codes. In ancient India, some Hindu and Jain texts described layered worlds, Earth as rings of land and sea centered on Mount Meru. Meru, axis of the universe and dwelling of gods. As Rishabh Joshi shares, these are maps of the soul, guiding an inner journey, continents and oceans as states of consciousness. Section 4. Echoes in the Digital Age, Modern Flat Earth Beliefs. Before we proceed, a note of caution. We are about to explore a set of beliefs that stand in direct opposition to centuries of established scientific consensus. Our purpose is not to endorse these claims, but to understand their structure, their appeal, and their place in the modern world. We will approach this topic with the same neutrality and intellectual curiosity that guides our entire inquiry. In an age defined by unprecedented technological achievement, where satellites orbit our planet, astronauts share images from space, and global communication is instantaneous, the notion of a flat Earth can feel like a distant echo from a pre-scientific era. Yet, what was once largely considered a historical curiosity has experienced a remarkable and unexpected resurgence in the 21st century. Paradoxically, the very digital infrastructure that relies on a spherical Earth model, from GPS navigation to global internet connectivity, has become the primary vehicle for the idea's modern revival. This revival is fueled by the internet, a decentralized ecosystem where information and misinformation can spread with astonishing speed. On platforms like YouTube, Facebook, and TikTok, dedicated channels and groups have cultivated tight-knit communities. Here, members don't just passively consume content. They find a sense of camaraderie and shared purpose. They are connected not by geography, but by a shared conviction that they have uncovered a profound, hidden truth. Within this digital landscape, a new generation of content creators has emerged. Many are highly skilled in modern media production, creating slick, persuasive videos, engaging live streams, and viral memes. They adeptly package complex arguments into easily digestible formats, often presenting themselves as independent researchers on a quest for truth, standing against a monolithic establishment. This creates a powerful parasocial relationship, where followers feel a personal connection to and trust in these figures, seeing them as authentic guides in a world of perceived deception. A central pillar of this modern movement is the emphasis on personal observation and so-called do-it-yourself experiments. Adherents are encouraged to trust their own senses above all else. They conduct experiments intended to challenge the globe model, such as using high-zoom cameras to try and see objects that should be hidden by the Earth's curvature. They analyze flight paths, question the behavior of gyroscopes, and launch high-altitude balloons with cameras, interpreting the resulting footage as evidence for a flat stationary plane. While these experiments are often flawed in their methodology and interpretation from a scientific standpoint, they are powerful tools for reinforcing belief within the community. They create the feeling of active, empirical inquiry, positioning believers as citizen scientists, reclaiming knowledge for themselves. So, what is the model of the world proposed by most modern flat earthers? While variations exist, a common framework has emerged. This model depicts the Earth as a flat circular disk, with the North Pole located at its geometric center. In this view, the continent of Antarctica is not a continent at all. Instead, it is imagined as a colossal ice wall, hundreds of feet high, that encircles the entire perimeter of the disk. This massive barrier serves a crucial function. It contains the world's oceans, preventing them from spilling off the edge into an unknown abyss. The existence of this ice wall is tied to another core tenet, that governments and powerful entities often linked to the Antarctic Treaty System are actively preventing any independent exploration of this region. The treaty, which promotes scientific research and forbids military activity, is reinterpreted as a cover-up, a mechanism to stop civilians from reaching and verifying the existence of the edge. To account for day and night, the model rejects the idea of a distant, massive sun. Instead, the sun and moon are described as small, local celestial bodies, perhaps only a few dozen miles in diameter, that circle in paths high above the surface of the disk. They function like spotlights, illuminating different portions of the Earth as they move, creating the cycles of day, night, and the seasons. The fundamental force of gravity is also dismissed. In its place, many proponents substitute a concept called universal acceleration. The idea is that the flat disk of the Earth is constantly accelerating upwards at a rate of 9.8 meters per second squared. This constant upward motion creates the same downward force we perceive as gravity, pressing us and everything else onto the ground. What is causing this perpetual acceleration is a matter of debate within the community. And what of the vast library of images and videos from space? The iconic blue marble photographs, satellite weather maps, live feeds from the International Space Station, all of it is categorically dismissed as fraudulent. This evidence is claimed to be the product of sophisticated computer-generated imagery, or CGI, fabricated by space agencies like NASA as part of a supposed global conspiracy to hide the true nature of our world. To understand the appeal of these ideas, we must look beyond the specific claims to the deeper psychological and sociological drivers. At its heart, the modern flat Earth movement is often an expression of a profound distrust of institutions. This skepticism is not limited to a single entity. It extends across the board to governments, the scientific establishment, mainstream media, and education systems. For many, these institutions are no longer seen as reliable sources of truth, but as corrupt organizations invested in maintaining control through deception. This journey often begins not with the Earth, but with a single seed of doubt about an official narrative. As one person described it, it starts with one question. You pull on that thread, and you keep pulling. Soon, everything you've been told starts to feel like a lie. When you finally get to the shape of the Earth, it becomes the biggest, most fundamental lie of all. Realizing that, believing it, it feels like waking up for the first time. It is empowering. This sentiment captures the powerful emotional core of the belief, a feeling of liberation, of seeing through a grand illusion that holds the rest of humanity captive. This feeling is then powerfully reinforced by the very architecture of social media. Recommendation algorithms are designed to show users more of what they engage with. When a person watches one flat Earth video, the platform suggests another, and then another. This creates a feedback loop, an algorithmic echo chamber that systematically filters out dissenting views and amplifies confirmation. Within these digital walls, members find more than just information. They find social acceptance, a new sense of identity, and a profound sense of purpose. They are no longer isolated individuals with strange ideas, but part of a global community of truth seekers, celebrating their own experiments and reinforcing their shared alternative worldview. To truly understand why some people believe in a flat Earth, we must look far beyond the realm of physics and astronomy. The persistence of these beliefs, in the face of overwhelming scientific consensus, cannot be explained by evidence alone. It's a journey not into the cosmos, but but deep into the human experience itself, we must ask a more fundamental question. How do we, as individuals and as societies, decide what is true? This is the field of epistemology, the study of knowledge, and it reveals that for most of what we know about the world, direct personal proof is the exception, not the rule. Our beliefs are not formed in a vacuum. They are deeply rooted in our culture, our psychology, and the intricate social structures that shape our lives. Think of culture as the water we swim in. It's so pervasive we often don't notice its influence on our perception of reality. It provides us with language, metaphors, and foundational stories that frame our understanding of everything, including the very ground beneath our feet. These cultural frameworks give us a sense of belonging and shared meaning, which are powerful human needs. We rely on an invisible, sprawling web of trust to live in our complex modern society. You trust that the food you buy is safe, that the pilot flying your plane is qualified, that the bridge you drive over is structurally sound. You did not personally inspect the farm, audit the pilot's training, or run the engineering calculations for the bridge. You delegate that trust to others, to farmers, regulators, engineers, and the institutions that certify them. This delegation is not a weakness. It is the very foundation of civilization, allowing for specialization and progress on a scale no single individual could ever achieve. We are all, in almost every aspect of our lives, operating on faith in a system of distributed expertise. But what happens when that foundational trust erodes? When institutions are perceived as corrupt, self-serving, or deceptive, the entire web begins to fray. Through intense political polarization, where opposing sides see each other not just as wrong but as malicious, trust in any shared authority collapses. When people see headlines about corporate malfeasance, political scandals, or scientific fraud, a seed of doubt is planted. This isn't just a modern phenomenon. History is filled with examples where authority has been abused, creating deep generational wounds. The Tuskegee syphilis study, where researchers deceived and withheld treatment from African American men for decades, is a stark example of why certain communities harbor a profound and justified distrust of medical and governmental institutions. When trust is broken so profoundly, people naturally begin to question all forms of institutional knowledge, including long-established scientific facts. This skepticism is often rooted in a critical understanding of history. Knowledge has never been entirely neutral. It has always been intertwined with power. The very maps that charted the globe also carved it up for colonial exploitation. Power dynamics shaped which realities became dominant. The science of astronomy, which gave us our cosmic address, often served empire by enabling navigation and conquest. When people learn that scientific and academic institutions were once complicit in systems of oppression, it can lead them to view all institutional claims with suspicion, seeing them not as objective truths, but as narratives constructed to serve the powerful. This brings us to the power of story and local knowledge. Consider the words of an Amazonian elder, who might say, "Our stories tell that the world was woven into being by the great ancestor. The sky is our roof, the river our central vein, and the forest our larder." This is a cosmology, a way of understanding one's place in the universe. To hear this and ask, "But is it literally flat?" is to miss the point entirely. This description is not a scientific claim about geometry. It is a profound statement about relationship and responsibility. It defines the world as a home, not an object, a home with moral guidance, where the sky, the river, and the forest are relatives to be respected, not resources to be exploited. It's a truth expressed through metaphor, carrying wisdom about ecology, community, and ethics. In this light, for some communities, rejecting a globalized, abstract model of the world can be an act of cultural resistance. It is a way of reasserting the value of local knowledge, ancestral stories, and a connection to a specific place. In a world that feels increasingly homogenized and disconnected, clinging to a more grounded, human-scale cosmology can be a powerful way to reclaim a sense of identity and belonging that feels threatened by the forces of globalization. Then, there is the undeniable power of our own senses. Day to day, the world looks and feels flat. The ground doesn't curve away beneath our feet. When we look out across a vast plain or the surface of a calm lake, our eyes report a perfectly level plain. We do not feel the Earth spinning at 1,000 miles per hour, nor do we sense its motion as it hurtles through space. Our lived moment-to-moment experience is one of stability and flatness. Of course, science provides elegant explanations for why this is so. The Earth's vast size makes its curvature imperceptible on a human scale. Its rotation is so smooth and constant that, like being on a cruising airplane, we don't feel the motion. But these are abstract explanations. They require us to trust a complex model over the direct, immediate evidence of our senses. And our senses are powerful, primal tools for navigating reality. They have kept us alive for millennia. In an age of deep-seated distrust, the act of trusting one's own eyes, of conducting one's own simple tests, can feel more honest and empowering than accepting the word of a distant, faceless authority. It feels like intellectual sovereignty. This desire for personal verification, for knowledge that is earned rather than received, is a potent psychological driver. It taps into a fundamental wish to be an active participant in understanding the world, not just a passive consumer of facts handed down from on high. Ultimately, beliefs about the world's shape persist and thrive in the spaces where identity, community, and meaning intertwine with personal experience. They are not just about facts. They are about who we trust, which community we belong to, and which stories give our lives meaning. A belief can function as a badge of identity, signaling allegiance to a group that sees itself as skeptical, independent, and courageous enough to question the mainstream narrative. In this context, abandoning the belief would mean more than just changing one's mind about a scientific fact. It could mean risking one's community, identity, and sense of purpose. Understanding this is the key to moving beyond mere debate, and toward a more compassionate inquiry into the nature of belief itself. Given these roots, how should we talk about Earth's shape? Correcting and overwhelming with facts can backfire. Instead, build bridges, start with curiosity and understanding. Tell science as a story. False starts, insights, collaboration. Use analogies, small experiments, and shared wonder. Respect cultural stories for their why, and show science for the how. Foster critical thinking, evaluate sources, spot fallacies, test claims. Empower people to think for themselves, not to win debates. We began with a child's question: what is the shape of our world? Humanity answered with flat disks, cosmic trees, layered continents, and a spinning blue sphere, each serving its time. The spherical model predicts, connects, and carries us into the cosmos. Yet beliefs are tied to identity, community, and trust. With dialogue, better communication, and critical thinking, we find common ground. May we prize curiosity over certainty, mapping reality together with humility, openness, and respect.